Welcome to Movie Speeching. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take good care. The Last Witch Hunter is the name of the movie. Please like and subscribe to get new updates. 800 years ago, Calder and his friends worked as witch hunters, searching for the witch who cursed their town with the Black Death, killing dozens of families. When they reach the center of the forest, they discover that the Witch Queen is behind all of this, and she kills the first soldier by summoning a flock from her mouth. She then summons several undead to attack them, and Calder immediately burned his sword to keep them at a distance. A fierce battle ensues, and while his friends defend themselves against the evil creatures, Calder chases after the queen, only to find a toy on the ground that reminds him of his family. His hidden. Calder realized that it was not real, and when he came out of the illusion, he began to fight the Witch Queen directly. The queen pushed him through a hole in the tree and trapped him with its roots, but Calder reactivated the sword and lit a great fire. He then stabbed the queen to kill her, but when she died, the queen cursed Calder with immortality so that he would live forever in his miserable loneliness. In the present time, Calder is still alive and working as a witch hunter. He is currently on a plane, and as he breathes into the window, he sees a symbol indicating the presence of magic. Using a pin on a glass of water as a compass, Calder found the witch and dealt with the person sitting next to her by spilling water on her lap. It turns out the witch is traveling with ancient runes in her pocket, which causes a storm that soon causes the plane to crash. In reality, the plane suddenly began to shake, but Calder grabbed the runes and disabled them, causing the storm to immediately disappear. Sometime later, Calder visits his 36th best friend Dolan, who, like him, works for the Axe and Cross organization. It is revealed that witches still exist and are allowed to live alongside humans as long as they do not use magic against them. Calder intervened only when necessary to keep the peace. Dolan will soon retire after 50 years of service, so Calder gave him an antique pin to commemorate the occasion. He also learns that his friends have chosen Dolan 37th, a young man sworn to watch over Calder. The 36th Dolan then takes a taxi home while Belial mysteriously watches from afar. The next day, Calder received a call informing him that the 36th Dolan had died in his sleep last night. Saddened by the news, Calder attended the ceremony where the young man was officially declared the 37th Dolan with a burn on his arm. The two then go to the dead Dolan's apartment to investigate the death. Calder used the usual tricks to test for elemental magic, like blowing on windows and lighting fires, but there were no signs. However, when he was about to leave, he found 3 dead insects and found them suspicious. He used a special powder on the ground and revealed a pentagram that suddenly exploded and caused runes to appear on the wall. This confirms that the entire room has been cursed by rare dark magic and that his friend has been murdered. Looking further, Calder discovered that the pen was missing. He also finds a book with bloody fingerprints and begins to suspect the new Dolan, but the guy reveals his burned hands to prove his innocence. When he was a child, witches burned down his house, and it was Calder who saved him. Next, the duo goes to the local bakery and into the kitchen, where people are cooking with spooky ingredients. The powerful wizard Max sells the stems illegally and tries to escape with a flock of butterflies when he hears them, but Calder blocks his way by catching the butterflies in a jar. Max says he knows nothing about a person using dark magic, but after Calder asserts in a threatening tone, Max explains that he sold a forbidden herb to a stranger. Max was blind, so he couldn't describe the guy, but he smelled arsenic and rotten apples on him. This makes Calder think that the killer is at a funeral home near an apple tree, so he sends Dolan home for his safety and goes to investigate alone. Meanwhile, a child is shocked to find a trail of gummy bears on the street and follows it to find a beautiful marshmallow tree near a bright house that Belial is looking at. When the child took the candy, Calder stopped him and revealed that they were actually rotten apples. The house becomes old and ugly, and when Calder goes in to investigate, he finds a frightened young girl. Calder approaches her only to discover that she is a disguised witch named Ellic. The wizard tries to attack Calder and stabs him in the arm before running away. Calder's wound quickly closed, and he attacked Ellis, throwing a knife at him to pin him against the wall. After finding Dolan's gift pin, Calder beat Ellic and took him to the witches' council, where the 37th took the opportunity to punch Ellic in revenge. Council leader Glazer uses card reading to prove that Ellic is guilty, and she ignores Calder when he says that Ellic cannot work alone given the powerful magic he used. Glazer summoned a terrifying creature called a sentinel and gave it to Ellic without hesitation. Calder then noticed a dead bug on Glazer's clothes, which gave him an idea. He examined the 36th Dolan's body and used a carved candle to demonstrate the presence of magic. He then examines Dolan's neck and finds another bug that proves that he is not dead. He has actually been cursed by old-school dark magic. The only way to escape the curse is to kill the wizard who created it. Ellic's death proves he's working for someone. Calder also noticed a cut on Dolan's finger and went to re-examine the book, finding several bloody fingerprints left there that were intended to form a message. Remember your death. Since Calder doesn't remember his childhood, he goes to the witch's bar to get help. His mere presence scares all the witches except his master Chloe, to whom Calder requests a memory spell. Chloe is hesitant to help a witch hunter because he hunts his own kind, but she agrees when Calder explains that it is for the benefit of a friend. She placed a memory potion in a cherry, and when Calder ate it, he suddenly found himself in the cursed forest, seeing his own charred corpse kneeling on the ground. However, just as he was about to see more, Belial appeared and took the spell off of him, when Calder suddenly found himself chained to the ground. By breaking his fingers, he managed to slip his hands through the handcuffs and free himself before attacking Belial, starting a fight. Unfortunately, Calder is still under the influence of the spell and continues to hallucinate, so he cannot fight well. Belial took the opportunity to burn down the bar, allowing Chloe to bring Calder back from his trance. Calder thinks she is the queen and tries to kill her, but she blows powder in his face and wakes him up just in time. Calder tries to capture Belial again, but Belial opens a tree root hole in the ground and disappears. Chloe tries to use the fire extinguisher to no avail and laments about the loss of her bar because it's all she has, so she says Calder is a monster like everyone says. That night, Chloe hears a strange noise in her apartment and suddenly all the lights explode, causing the tree roots to open another hole in the ground and drag her down to hell. Chloe tried to escape their grip and noticed Calder's hand helping her, but at that moment she woke up and found herself in the church. Calder and the 37th Dolan search for Belial, and Calder again asks Chloe for help, convincing her to cooperate in taking revenge on his bar. Chloe agreed, but when her bar was gone, she needed medicinal ingredients, so she took Calder to a friend's house. When they get there, Chloe is devastated to discover that her friend has been murdered and all the important plants have been stolen. Soon after, she received a call from her friend's phone, but it was Belial with a message threatening them with further attacks. Since they have no other choice, Calder goes to meet the dangerous witch Danny Kaye, who agrees to lend them the plant. However, while Chloe is distracted examining the tree, Calder suddenly begins to have delusions about his family. It turns out Danny Kaye is the traitor, and while her employees capture Chloe, Calder finds himself trapped in a memory spell. He was happy to see his family again, but his happiness was interrupted by Chloe, who continued talking and pushing until he woke up. Back in reality, Calder finds himself being dragged away by Danique's men. He immediately knocks them out and finds Chloe, freeing her before interrogating Danny Kaye. The witch swore that she did not know Belial's intentions, she only brought him the plants he needed. Calder decides to leave without punishing her, but Chloe takes revenge by stealing Danique's magical gem and destroying it, revealing Danique's true hideous side. Later, Calder chats with Chloe and confirms that she is a sleepwalker, meaning she shouldn't require elixirs to induce into someone's intellect. Chloe confesses she's perplexed of her capacity since when she utilized it on her brother he kicked the bucket, so Calder takes her to a sacrosanct put that appears the history of witches. After educating her of her bequest, he reminds her he can't die and guides her through the method of seeing his intellect. The team returns to the night of the revival and finds Calder's charred body, which thundered when his companions came closer. When the first Dolan attempted to crush the queen's heart, Calder started shouting in torment, meaning they couldn't slaughter the ruler without murdering Calder as well. The heart was kept covered up, and Chloe realizes Belial murdered 36 Dolan since he knew where the heart is and will utilize it to bring the ruler back. In the meantime, Belial captures Max to require him to the ancient woods, where he puts it against a tree to give up him to the witch ruler as he summons it with the heart. Back to Calder, he goes to the cathedral and hollers at the 37th Dolan since no one within the organization ever told him they stowed away the heart. The youthful man reacts the 36th Dolan had been considering crushing the heart to give Calder his flexibility. He moreover gives Calder's with the area of Belial's truck, which can be followed. Minutes afterward, Calder arrives at the woods and finds Max has been had by the witch ruler. Chloe all of a sudden shows up behind him, but when Calder gets occupied, Belial drops the dream and attacks Calder with fire enchantment taken after by a number of shots. Be that as it may, Calder's quick and rapidly tosses a cut to murder him. The ruler implements this diversion to wound Calder with a root and recover the interminability, clarifying she hadn't talented it to him. He has fair been keeping it secure until she may recapture her body. Max loses his shape and changes into the ruler, who assaults Calder with an enchantment swarm, but when Calder responds with a shot, she vanishes into the tree. Calder surges back to the city and finds the 36th Dolan has stirred. Be that as it may, Calder isn't cheerful. He knows the ruler will cast a dark torment revile and he can't do anything to stop her. The Dolan reminds Calder he as of now killed the ruler once and empowers him to undertake once more. Decided to demonstrate himself to his companion, Calder recovers a legendary sword, furthermore a bunch of runes to arm himself. At that point he clears out with Chloe and the 37th Dolan to visit the chamber room, where the torment tree is kept absent from fiendish hands. Blazer is found dead, affirming the ruler is here to unleash the torment. They take after a mystery passage into the cave where the council kept the arrested witches, and Calder breaks a divider to discharge Alec's body, which is chanting absent the torment spell. Whereas Chloe enters Alec's intellect, the sentinel appears up. It is met with fire from Calder and Dolan, but bullets do nothing. Calder is pushed absent, but he rapidly recuperates and hops on best of the sentinel to wound him with the sword and shoot right into its powerless spot, making it detonate. In the meantime, Chloe shows up in Alec's mind and tries to cut him, but Alec hops on her and pushes her down to slaughter her. After a few battling, Chloe oversees to thrust back and tosses Alec into the root gap, which right away stops the chanting of the torment spell. Whereas Chloe returns to reality, Calder goes after the Queen, who makes the figment of a post-apocalyptic world to battle Calder there. Because Calder is mortal presently, each hit takes off a scar on him. After trading a couple of hits, Calder oversees to cut the ruler, but this as it were gets freed of the dream. Back in reality, Calder employments a rune to light his sword on fire and knocks down the ruler once more, but when he is about to arrive the ultimate blow, he's hindered by the 37th Dolan, who appears upholding Chloe at gunpoint. It turns out he's a witch as well, but he isn't able of utilizing enchantment, and the witches Calder slaughtered when he was a kid were his guardians. The Dolan shoots Calder and hands Chloe to the witch ruler, who instantly employments her to begin the chanting once more and at long last discharges the plague all over the city. Dolan trusts he'll be allowed enchantment as a remunerate, but the ruler sees magicless individuals as futile and murders him with her swarm. In the interim, an oblivious Calder begins dreaming almost his family, who back him and spur him to undertake once more. Calder wakes up and employments the climate rune from the plane on the sword to actuate a lightning impact. He continues to toss it at the ruler, successfully slaughtering her and gaining back eternality. As his wounds recuperate, the torment vanishes from the city. The Queen's body disintegrates in fiery debris, but the heart is still beaten. Calder needs to cut it, not caring almost his claimed future, but Chloe stops him by clarifying the world still needs him to keep battling witches. She also guarantees she'll keep the heart safe and won't let him be alone once more. At some point afterward, Calder tells the 36th Dolan that he won't work for the organization any longer. At that point clears out with Chloe to discover their following enterprise. Thank you for watching. See you on the next video.